G'day guys, Justin here from Gladstone Sportfishing. Guys, over the last few weeks, in particular after last weekend where we had a pretty good win in the Barrabasstastic event here at Lake Awoonga, with the best, tied for the best bag of 5 fish. Evan, our other guide, also got third, only about 20 centimetres behind. And we also got the best 10 fish, for the boat. So if it was a team's event, we had that by about 80 centimetres as well. I was lucky enough to get the biggest fish too, on a count back at 93 centimetres. And basically we had a truckload of questions after that, because the one lure in that event that was a standout for us, and in fact the last night we fished it exclusively because it just seemed to get all the big fish bites, was the Barambah Bony Shad. So Barambah lures, Matty Fraser's Barambahs, and these guys here. So the Bony Shad, this one's in the gold, but these things have probably accounted for over 250 barra for us on charter for clients in the last probably 6 to 8 weeks. In particular, in the evenings and the afternoons on those points and bay bites, these things have been dynamite. So I'll go through a few questions that were being asked. So number one is, the biggest one is, how do we fish them, like weight wise? Because these things are pretty cool. They're unlike a lot of other swim baits on the market. They come pre-rigged with quality rings and hooks. So out of the packet, they come with BKK hooks, sharp as razors, and some super strong splitties. Now, the cool thing about these swim baits is, out of the pack, they're weighted up so that they swim down on a fairly slow, but on a 45 degrees, and they swim down on the drop. So you can even fish these guys like a vibe. And when you drop them down, what we've seen on the gun and the live scope is that when they drop, they're actually significantly slower than a vibe. So if you find some suspended fish where you want to vibe some fish up, in particular just on the edges of the tree lines and things like that, these have worked really well. In fact, my young fella, Logan, got 295s out the back of the boat, video game fishing these in the live scope, so off a point, which is really cool. This gold one has been a standout. It's been a great colour for us. Even in the afternoons, fishing high energy water and fishing a little bit faster. But anyway, we'll get back to these lures. So what else they come with is a little packet of extra weights. Some are plastic and some are lead. And a couple of spare screws. So you can change the weights in these. And they've also got 2 weight pockets. So they've got one at the front and one here in the middle. And they come with this little cool screwdriver. So you can basically adjust your weight to your needs. So you undo this little segment here up the front, sort of screw him out, and pop that little guy out if I can. There we go. So, and you can see he's got 2 little lead weights in the front, rigged straight in the box. Now, the biggest question for us is, how do we fish them weight-wise? Well, at the moment and throughout the comp, fish them 100% as you see them out of the box. Just pull them out and tie one on. They're that good. Now, if you want to get this thing to slow right down on the drop, or if you want to fish it a little bit higher in the column, so your barra is suspended, in that top 2 meters of the column, if you're in, 4 or 5 meters of water, 100%. Take these out, load them, these little plastic ones in, and this thing will slow right down as far as swimming down on that 45. And it'll also allow the lure to come back at a higher level through the column if you're slow rolling it, or even a steady roll. But as I said, we've fished them basically as is, straight out of the box, for the last, I'd say 8 weeks, and they have just been dynamite for us. Now, there's a few retrieves we would like to do with these guys. So I'll put this little fella back together. So it's pretty simple, You just line it up, get your holes right, and then just screw them back together, and it's good to go, like that. Yeah, so 2 retrieves, we've really liked these things. One is like a nice, just pretty simple peg and wind, slow roll. So fishing points, you know, we've got the boat sitting out in about 4.5, 5 meters of water, and we're throwing these guys nice long cast up into about 2.5, 3 meters. Not really letting it sink too long, probably give it 2 seconds, and then just a nice steady paced roll, or even a slow roll, depending on where your weed is and things like that. You just have to adjust that retrieve. When the barra eat it, it's a proper eat. They hit it to kill it, so quite often you'll find this thing will be way down the back of their throat or on the side of the face if they've whacked it really hard in a kill motion. But generally speaking, right down the back of their throat, and it's almost instantaneous. The barra hits the surface straight away, trying to get rid of it. But yeah, that's the first retrieve. The other retrieve, what we found really worked over the tournament, is quite a reaction bite style of retrieve, and it pretty much got 99.9% of the bites. So we'd throw it out, same thing, big long cast, give it a couple of seconds to drop. So she'll drop back down on that 45, and then a really aggressive rip. So it'd be rip, and the lure's like obviously fluttering around, and they kind of turn on themselves really cool. So rip, and then a real quick burn, so 2 burns of the handle with a bait caster, and then drop it straight into an ultra slow roll. So it's basically the way the lure should work is a rip turning on itself, rip, and then rip again, so getting the barra's attention, and then like the lure sort of shoots out for about a meter, I guess, away from the weed edge or the point, and then drop it straight into a dead slow roll. So you can imagine it's up in that top 1.5 to 2 meters of the column, gets the attention of the barra, and then sort of dead slow rolling coming away. So it sort of drops slowly down a little bit deeper, and then just kicks along nice with that nice segmented body and just cruising along. And nearly every time, within about the first 5 rolls of the slow roll, bang, you know, they smack it. So that was the #1 retrieve for us through the tournament. And as I said, this gold one here, really good colour. It's been really successful. You know, everyone loves the gold. The gold bombers have been an iconic lure and colour for a long time, but we really like this one in Lake Awoonga. The other 2 colours that we've recently caught a lot of fish on, the hot pink. The pink has been super deadly in the last few weeks. It's a really cool colour, and in fact, the first couple of nights in the tournament got all the bites. And then the other one is this real natural bony looking colour. It's like an olivey green over gold, and you can see this guy, he's been munted by about, this fella's probably caught in excess of 20 barra. So it's, you know, it's starting to just tiny take a little bit of paint off, but other than that, like, these hooks are still razor sharp, rings are good, everything's good, the lure's integrity is spot on, and this thing, you know, it's caught, as I said, probably over 20 fish between 85 and 95 centimetres. So very hardy lure. They stand up to a fair bit of punishment. In fact, yeah, Evan the other night, he had a gold one, and it had probably caught about 50 barra, and he was devastated because he lost it on a snag. So he was pretty gutted because the lure was as good as out of the packet as the day he bought it. So yeah, look guys, this is just a bit of a review and how we like to fish these bony shads. So the Barambah lures, designed by Matt Fraser, and this is the Bony Shad 120. Thanks very much. I'm Justin from Gladstone Flying Sport Fishing. Happy fishing.